And her husband is due in court tomorrow on assault charges. Bridget Grisante is trapped in a nightmare because she says she is married to the mob. Tonight you'll hear more from Bridget and meet her husband as John Miller continues his News 4 exclusive.
To take their children away.
It was a small silver revolver, and he places it in my abdomen area, and he presses it in, and he says again, "You are going to drop all charges against me today, or the next thing you're going to see is bullets flying through each of your kids' heads."
How did he get the kids?
I had to give them to him. I didn't want them to go, but I had to keep them alive. What was better, having them dead and burying them, or just waiting the 4 days for the court date and keeping them alive?
How you doing? Wanted to talk to you about this story with your wife. Is it true that you beat her 5 times since 1984? Did you take the kids from her at gunpoint? Are you a member of organized crime, the Genovese crime family? Do you run gambling and loan sharking? Mr. Grisante, would I take it you have no comment? While Mike Grisante isn't talking, there are 2 sides to this story, and his lawyer had plenty to say. Murray Richmond charged that it's his client who's being shaken down and intimidated, and he says he has secret tapes to prove it. Tomorrow, we'll play them for you. John Miller, News 4, New York.
Bridget Grisante has charged her husband with assault twice. He is back in court on that charge tomorrow. As for murder, police say he was questioned in the murder of Anthony DeLuca. They won't say if he's a suspect still. He was never charged in that case. And join us tomorrow at 5 so you can hear Grisante's secret tapes and his wife's reaction to them.
Peter Guagenti, the man who cops say gave Amy Fisher a gun in return for sex, is going to jail. Prosecutors call him a cooperative witness in the case, so a judge sentenced him to only 6 months in prison. Guagenti admits selling Fisher the gun used to shoot Mary Jo Buttafuoco, but denies he did it for sexual favors. Today, he showed remorse.
I want to reassure this court that when this is all behind me, I'm going to lead a law-abiding life, and I wish to go back to school to achieve my goals.
And on tomorrow's Donahue, the Freeport motel clerk who claims he checked in Joey Buttafuoco, he says the receipts that Donahue showed him are real.
Mr. Buttafuoco, approximately, I would say about 8 times between the dates of July of '91 and March of 1992.
Yeah, are these...
Can't miss those.
He's going around telling the world how he loves Mary Jo loves him, and he loves Mary Jo, and Mary Jo is it. She's like #1 in my life. It just aggravates me terribly. Because I worked there, I met him.
Well, obviously, we had to delete that sexual reference. The whole story is told on tomorrow's Donahue.
It's a crime that's unspeakable, and tonight prosecutors and school officials want to know why. When a 9-year-old girl wrote about being raped by her father, nothing was done about it. Dave Browdy's here now with details for us. Dave?
Well, Chuck, we all remember Lisa Steinberg, the 6-year-old who died in 1987 after signs that she'd been beaten by her own parents were ignored by teachers. This time it is a 9-year-old girl who wrote an astonishing essay. But investigators say 4 school officials confronted with the girl's story of rape by her own father did nothing, except apparently launch a cover-up. When I was 8 years old, my father raped me. That's the way a student at PS 30 in Harlem told her story in an essay assigned a year ago for Black History Month. The essay said she identified with Desiree Washington, the young woman raped by then boxing champ Mike Tyson. But how did school officials react? Investigators say instead of reporting the abuse immediately, they did nothing at all for more than a month.
The people at the school, frankly, were indifferent to this almost to the end. I honestly don't feel that they saw exactly how wrong their behavior was, even as we were talking with them.
A report from the Special Commissioner for Investigations says the essay was written February 14th last year. The teacher brought it to the assistant principal who read it, but passed it back to him. The principal was away and didn't see the essay till the 24th. But instead of calling the child abuse hotline as required by law, she referred it to a school nurse. March 12th, almost a month after the essay was written, the nurse spoke with the girl involved. Still, no report of the rape was made. In fact, according to the report, no action was taken at all by the school. But the girl had already told her grandmother, who took the allegation to the DA. When investigators went to the school, all copies of the essay were said to be missing.
The lessons of the Lisa Steinberg case have faded with time. If we hear the warning, perhaps another tragedy can be averted. If we don't, it will happen again.
What is even more shocking about this case is that the father at the time of the rape was suffering from AIDS. He died while awaiting trial. But investigators say at least the youngster tests negative for HIV. Chuck?
Some consolation, I suppose. Thank you. The report on this sad affair recommends disciplinary action against the principal, but not firing, and the school officials aren't committing to it. They say they're studying the report.
A Bronx mother is in shock tonight after the death of the baby girl she was trying to nurse back to health. She says she was only doing what her doctor told her, leaving her infant in a steam-filled bathroom for 40 minutes because she was having trouble breathing. Tiana Davis was less than 3 weeks old when she died in her Bronx home. The infant's mother, Regina, said she was just following medical advice from the Belvis Clinic.
Somebody should have given me a time limit. You just don't say, a nurse and a doctor just don't tell a person, just put the baby in the bathroom and let the baby breathe the steam.
A clinic spokesman says the mother was instructed not to leave the baby alone in the steam-filled room.
Police are trying to unravel the mysterious torching of several cops' cars in a Brooklyn precinct parking lot. 8 cars were destroyed at the 75th precinct in East New York. Detectives from the arson squad are trying to figure out how this could happen in the precinct parking lot in broad daylight.
A Teaneck, New Jersey teacher gave her class a lesson in bravery today when she stopped a runaway bus preventing a crash. 24-year-old Lisa Merritt was teaching her phys ed class at Thomas Jefferson High when, well, listen to her 8th grade students describe her heroic actions.
And then we saw this bus, and it was rolling down the hill, and the bus driver had left the bus. Ms. Merritt climbed over the chairs.
She didn't even think. She just, like, jumped out the window.
Runs to the bus and gets inside the bus and pushes her foot on the brake right before it hits a car.
We had a woman playing a role that the girls in school here rarely see, and that is being very active and actually saving the day.
Superwoman, yeah, all right. You know, they were going nuts.
Merritt modestly says her achievement grows bolder with each telling and adds she's no superwoman, but try telling that to her 8th grade class.
Tip of the hat, please. There's much more ahead as we continue for you News 4 this evening. A jury socks it to GM with a multi-million-dollar verdict. Traffic everywhere. Who can help? Ben Farnsworth says, look up. We'll explain.
When is a zoo not a zoo? We'll tell you later on, but first, Al Roker has the morning line on the weather.
That's right, and I think you'll be able to bear what we've got to tell you. We'll try to give that to you, but first we have to pause for these messages.
Senate. First, the Ethics Committee announced it would investigate Oregon Senator Bob Packwood on charges of sexual harassment. Then the full Senate passed the family leave bill. It's now heading for President Clinton's desk, and he could sign it as early as tomorrow morning. The House passed its version last night. An Atlanta jury has ordered General Motors to pay more than $105 million in damages to a family who claims their teenage son died because of a faulty fuel tank design. As Kenley Jones reports, it's one of 100 similar cases pending against the giant automaker.
The lawyer for Thomas and Elaine Mosley urged the jury to punish GM for what he called corporate misconduct. Their suit challenged the safety of full-size Chevy and GMC pickup trucks made between 1973 and 1987. On those models, the fuel tanks were placed outside the frame rails instead of inside, where safety experts say they would be better protected in side impact collisions. The Mosley's 17-year-old son, Shannon, died when his 1985 GMC truck burst into flames after it was struck in the side by a drunk driver.
Call Mr. Ronald Elwell, Your Honor.
A former GM engineer testified the company kept important crash test results secret from him, even while he was defending the so-called side saddle fuel tanks in court.
Aimed right at it like a rifle shot.
GM argued that Shannon Mosley died from the impact of the collision, not the fire. But the jury didn't buy that.
We're here with a statement to GM and to the government that it's for everybody out there.
GM is the target of a federal investigation into the safety of its side saddle fuel tank trucks. The Mosleys hope this verdict will encourage the government to recall almost 5 million of those trucks on the road today. If that happened, it would be a huge financial loss to General Motors, which is already losing money at a record rate. Kenley Jones, NBC News, Atlanta.
Well, tonight, GM says that the jury acted out of emotion.
Well, Americans who are working harder these days, and new government figures bear that out. Worker productivity was up 2.7% last year. That's the biggest jump in a decade, which is good news for business, but it looks as if fewer jobs are being created. And there's another sign of economic recovery, strong retail sales figures for last month. But tomorrow's unemployment figures could tell a different story.
Just ahead, a name change for an old friend, and Len Berman's here with a preview of sports.
Well, Sue, coming up, it's a big night in sports as both the Knicks and the Nets are home, both doing well. Larry Bird gets his due in a special ceremony in Boston tonight. Bo and Dokes weighing in today, and we will go spanning the world. That's all coming up later in sports.
Everyone's telling me I should be using a discount broker.
Hoboken! Yo, Hoboken! Dean Hart getting our video for us as we check it out. Yo, 31 degrees. Clear sky. Winds right now out of the northwest at 9, wind chill of 19. Relative humidity 31%. The barometer holding steady. I hate when I get ethnic. Let's take a look. Get that out of here. Thank you. 31 degrees in Newark, 31 at Atlantic City, 23 right now at Morristown, New Jersey, 28 degrees currently in Islip. And as we check out the satellite picture for you, show you what's going on, you'll see that we've got a little bit of a low pressure system that is going to be getting itself together back to the west, and that's going to reform off the coast. But right now it looks like far enough off the coast that it's not going to be a problem for us. What we're worried about is some more cold air. Let's take a look. Big area of high pressure right now. Winds out of the northwest, so a chilly night tonight. Temperatures down into the 20s. But tomorrow, that high moves to the east. That'll be a milder flow of air. But behind it, Arctic air coming out of Canada, some snow showers working their way from Canada as well. They will probably get their way in here on Sunday, or late Saturday on into Sunday, but then what we're looking for is to stay in that deep freeze. So here's how our forecast shapes up. Tomorrow around much of the country, we are going to be in great shape. We're looking for plenty of sunshine. However, we do have that snow area now developing back to the west. Also some wet weather down in the Gulf Coast and the West Coast looking very wet indeed. Closer to home for us tonight, clear skies, low 20s in the inland suburbs. Coastal sections will see overnight lows mid to upper 20s. And for tomorrow, we're looking for temperatures pretty nice, 50 degrees, not too bad, mid 40s to about 50 with plenty of sunshine, but then some snow develops on Saturday. Windy, temperatures falling through the 20s. Sunday, only 24 for a high and windy. Monday, chance of a snowflake or two, 31. Tuesday, partly sunny and a temperature of 33 degrees. Sup? Sup?
Oh, for just a second, I didn't know what you're talking about, but you were getting so ethnic.
We're still in that
We're
rap
about to tell
mode.
Yeah.
What's up?
Sup? I'll tell you what, just ahead. Help from above in the rush to work. Stay with us.
Ooh, Chuck got it.
What's up?
Mrs. Washburn, I'm Gerald Fry's mother.
Oh, don't you work nights?
I traded shifts. Mrs. Washburn, about Gerald. I wish I could help him learn better, but I'm no genius.
Well, you don't have to do the homework, but ask to see it. Let him show off what he learned. Praise him more. Show you care.
You think we got a chance here?
A good chance. Show me a parent who really cares, and I'll show you a kid who can learn.
Hi, I'm Phil Simmons of the Giants.
And I'm New Jersey Governor Jim Florio.
Remember, when you get in a car, wear a seatbelt.
Because seatbelts save lives.
It's not the Hatfields and the McCoys or the Scarboroughs and the Simmons. It's the border...
I'm begging your pardon.
But the border war is heating up between New York City and Bergen County. The argument comes from a $200 user fee that New York wants to impose on New Jersey-based taxis that come into Manhattan. Now, in retaliation, Bergen County is considering a similar move against New York-based limos.
Well, I don't have to tell you that just getting to work each day is tough. The rush to work can be terribly frustrating. Bumper-to-bumper traffic, accidents, big trucks, anything else that slows down traffic can be a real pain. But there is help. And in tonight's Commuter Week report, Ben Farnsworth tells us about some eyes in the sky.
good morning, Roger. It's Tuesday morning. It's cold and clear, and you better warm that buggy up, that horseless carriage, as you head into the city. We've got a...
As New York City wipes the sleep from its eyes, traffic torments are dawning.
Inbound at the GW Bridge on the major quartet of roadways coming through Bergen County, your lengthiest delay time would be on either Route 4 or 8095.
WOR pilot and traffic reporter George Meade sits in the sky, tracking the agony in what looks like a giant collection of matchbox cars.
And we're looking at 15-minute delays at our Manhattan-bound Hudson River crossings. Good morning, Cecile.
On the ground, the total traffic company, Shadow, broadcasts reports to radio and TV stations across the area. They also have choppers, along with airplanes and tipsters.
I think they do a good job. Not always totally accurate, but generally speaking, it's a help.
Route 3 is always jammed, so you could just say that automatically every day.
I think sometimes they miss things.
90% of the times, I believe they're accurate.
No matter what motorists think of traffic reports, they all look and listen to them and want more. You think it's easy to survey the snarls?
Traffic is not a perfect science. There are going to be a lot of times when we save you from a big delay. Is the Lincoln Tunnel going to be backed up most mornings? Absolutely. But is it going to be a major problem some morning, and can we save you from it? Yes.
Okay, you have to fly the helicopter, talk to the FAA controllers, keep your eye on traffic on the ground. This job isn't easy.
Believe me, if I was down on the ground, whether I'm listening to George Meade or anyone else, I'd want the information. I want to know whether I want to make a choice between the Lincoln Tunnel and the Holland Tunnel, whether it's a big tire down.